Welcome back to the Haunting of BLY Manor. Things were really heating up in the last episode, so I have a feeling it's going to continue with the slightly more intense stuff in this episode.
Were you tucked away just now?
She was knocked the fuck out.
Don't mind me asking.
I'm not sure seeing them would actually make her feel any better.
Vex, you're slipping. Stay with me, Vex. Vex!
Slipping where?
It's okay, kids. She's just
mean-
stream hopping a little.
I was gonna say, Hannah
She'll be
like
back.
bounced around all the time. I guess it's the same for these two.
I mean, she could get us in a lot of trouble, couldn't she?
I mean, you're ghosts. Like, how much trouble can you get in?
Fine when you want that far. Far to learn.
So, kill her?
You like it?
Are they actually gonna kill Danny? Like,
They're
this
different
is
kinds,
really
aren't
fucked up, dude.
He's hopping away.
So he's also about to slip to another memory.
That's what you see.
So we're gonna get a little
Look at
backstory
this.
on him. Am I gonna feel bad for him?
Look at you.
Probably not.
They did. They said I'm cured, free to go.
Oh,
Wasn't
so she
much
was in
truly
a
wrong to start with, but
mental
here we
hospital?
are. To your boss.
You're shaking me down.
Oh.
Lord Henry Wingrave, I presume. How odd. Him not knowing.
What an
I
evil
don't
motherfucker.
have any money.
They're not missing. They're stolen.
Okay, so his parents are super
My
fucked
apologies.
up. I still
Isn't
hate
it
him.
stolen arms? Didn't raise any alarms then.
No, not like you're saying it now.
And you're certain?
Well, I mean, it should have
Where
raised
you
some
got this
alarms.
money, since he did leave you behind after all.
No, he wouldn't run away!
Oh, okay. I was like, this guy's an asshole, but I keep forgetting that in the memories, it's not exactly as they happened.
Biking is just chemistry.
I have to admit, this is a very clever
So
way
it's
to
not
go
been
through the
yours, one
memories
part lit,
and like
Two
flashbacks of
parts
this
water and
season.
lots of lovely washing up.
Here to glow to little Jamie.
Well,
Is that what we're doing here, is it?
I certainly would.
Not here to talk about him at all. Tell me what that pupillage talked about. Back to whatever goal it was you had before you even knew what a Peter Quint was.
Well, that's...
Good idea.
Thank you.
Jamie's so cool, man.
I would have been fucking clueless.
Not like that.
You left.
That's
I didn't.
exactly what it was like.
I never.
You never what? You never loved me.
You were going to leave,
I
though.
never left you.
You can't be like, I never
was
left.
here
I never left
this
you.
whole
It's
time.
like, you
But
were going
I
to,
couldn't-
though. If you didn't fucking die in the
You
process.
couldn't see me.
You all right?
Yeah, well,
Yes,
my boyfriend was
I
a thief and a
suppose
piece of shit, and he's
the
dead.
children
so.
are asleep.
Oh, I know. The length of a relationship hard, which for you, well, it really isn't that long now, is it?
That's a little
Well, not everything has a half-life,
belittling.
does it?
Like, Rebecca, I understand it's different circumstances, it's pretty insane, but like, you're being kind of an asshole and unreasonable. And you felt for him of all people. Like, girl, what the fuck is wrong with you?
We do it anyway, and people can think I'm some batty old Brit who talks to thin air, but at least we'd be together.
Well, he can't leave, so
I can't leave Blay.
Will you tell me now?
kind of reminds me of
How it happened.
American Horror Story, the first season.
Got to be.
Quiet, Bex!
Oh, what? I thought they could only possess like one person. Wait a minute, does that mean that Peter's the one that kills her? I mean, she could genuinely just kill herself because she wants to be with Peter.
You okay?
Rebecca. I mean, I'm sure that that's Peter and Rebecca's body, but still, like, Rebecca really should, like, let this shit go, man. You knew him for what? A couple months, at most. He's dead. Move on. Take the job. I know she doesn't because she dies, but whatever. Didn't work, did it?
It didn't work.
Didn't think it would. Like, I want to like Rebecca so badly, but every episode that passes by, I'm like, I just like you less and less. Like, you're a fool. Like, how could you fall so hard for someone so shitty? Oh, is she wearing... Yeah, she's wearing what she normally wears when she's dead. Is this the moment?
You trust me?
No.
I need you to trust me because I have a plan.
Just don't.
A plan that'll let us be together again.
He's gonna kill her. He's gonna possess her, and then he's
touch
gonna
each
kill
other
her.
and taste each other. It would be the two of us
That's...
sharing a life.
I would not
Don't
want
understand, but how?
Well,
that. For like
simple.
any circumstances, I would
I
not
think
want that.
a lot simpler than you think, but because you didn't invite me in.
Oh, this goes back
You
to the
just
second
need to
episode
decide
when they were talking about
that
how
it's
the men needed
permanent.
to give, was it the demons
How
permission
would I even...
to inhabit them?
I don't know. I don't know it exactly.
So there was some
but I
foreshadowing.
think it's just Will becoming us.
Fuck that, dude. I want my privacy. No, thank you. Oh, that's kind of cool, though. Like the different colored eyes. Every word that comes out of your mouth is poison.
Peter.
Dude, that is so fucked up. Like, I always thought that she actually was so grief-stricken that she killed herself. But he just tricked her. Because he's a fucked up human being. I thought with this episode giving us a little bit of Peter's past, this would be the episode where I change my tune on him a little bit. Incorrect. I hate him more now than I ever have. It weirdly kind of reminds me of that movie Passengers. The whole... like, I'm lonely, so I'm gonna take you down with me. Like, fucked up, dude. Oh, man. Like, how she would ever speak to Peter again after that, I don't know.
After the water came into my lungs, you just left.
Beautiful.
You just left me to do it alone. This isn't what you said.
He didn't even have the
It's not what
decency
I
to go
agreed.
through that pain for her. This would be the moment I'm like, okay, we're gonna figure out if you can die twice, you asshole. Like, yes, his mother, and I'm assuming his father, are horrible, horrible people.
You know the others.
I get that. That doesn't mean
They seem
you
to go to
also
lots of
have to
places,
be
don't
such
they?
a horrible
The ex, the
person.
kids. They get to hop around.
I've seen
into the
plenty of people with
warmest little
absolutely
memories,
horrific
and this
parents
is
turned out to be
little
great people.
moments. I did what you wanted. And it killed me. I hope you know that late at night that you killed your own son.
So he was stealing and everything
I was right.
for her because she was blackmailing him. I mean, I still hate him because that he still has made many, many choices that make him a real piece of shit. But that key little detail does kind of change things.
Sorry.
I still hate him though, just to be clear.
Well,
Oh, they're gonna do the
it's what we've been talking about.
like full
This whole
possession
time.
with the kids.
This is what will happen, Miles Flora. This is
That's
what
why they're a
happens
ghost
to
without a
everyone who
face?
dies here at BLY.
So is this story just gonna have like a fucked up ending? Cause things are not looking good. So even though they both had blue eyes, you still always get like the dual colored eyes if you're
Is that you?
possessed.
Just keep it quiet and I'll do it myself.
He's just a fucking liar.
Coming.
Just a constant, absolute, utter
I'll be back. Don't
lying
go
liar.
in.
Man, if there's any character that deserved better, I would say it's Hannah.
How did I do?
Oh yes.
Untie her, Flora, quickly.
All right, Rebecca, cool.
I still
She's
don't
cool.
understand. I thought we were playing a game.
Flora too, obviously. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I'm not leaving!
Flora,
And you can't make me!
just grab her and run. Oh shit! Bro, why is everything going wrong in this episode? Hello? You fuck. Okay. The show is officially pissing me off quite a bit. So, kind of as expected, this episode kept the intensity up for the most part. I think it did kind of deviate from the forward storytelling a little too much for my taste. Like, if you're gonna end the last episode with Danny being kidnapped and this like huge serious situation happening, then I feel like it's not very smart for the next episode to be like, all right, here's why, and then not show Danny or that situation for well over half the episode. I think it actually would have been smarter to probably spend the last episode dealing with this stuff, cut down all the stuff with Henry, and then just let this episode be about what happens now that she's kidnapped and where the story's going from here. Because as much as I was definitely engaged and enjoyed the moments of flashbacks, it was one of those situations where I was like, can we please get back to what's happening with Danny? Like, to be fair, this episode answered a lot of questions, gave us all the necessary backstory that we needed for Rebecca and for Peter. But again, I think the last episode would have been better suited to that rather than this one. Because in terms of the present, I think maybe a total of, I don't know, like 10 minutes passed for the actual story, which I don't know. I don't really like the structure of this episode. Depending on how the next two episodes go, it might be a whole show kind of critique where I'm like, I don't really like the structure of it. Because I do enjoy the story, and for the most part, I enjoy the characters. Like, even Peter, I hate him to death. Like, he's an evil piece of shit. But I think he's a well-written character, very well acted. I think the only character on the entire show I don't really give a shit about is Henry, and he wasn't in this episode at all, so, you know, could have been worse. Although a slight, like, plot hole I guess I kind of see in things is the fact that Peter's able to possess Rebecca and Miles, so it's clear that the ghosts can kind of possess whoever the fuck they want to, I guess. Maybe there needs to be some kind of, like, emotional connection there. That makes kind of sense, actually. But if not, then why not just possess Danny and take care of her that way, you know? But I have a feeling it is probably some kind of emotional connection that you have to have with the other person to be able to possess them. The less of a connection there is, probably the less time you're able to possess them, or you just can't at all. And I did enjoy Peter's backstory, even though it's technically one scene played 3 times, just because, as suspected, he comes from a childhood where, you know, as he said, he never knew love or companionship or anything like that, because his parents are horrible, evil people just like he is. But again, that does not excuse you for being a piece of shit yourself. I've known many people who have had horrible, horrible parents and ended up being great people because they saw what their parents were and said, I will never be that. That being said, it did make a lot more sense when at the end of the episode it was revealed, you know, he agreed to his mom's blackmail, and that's why he was stealing in the first place and why he wanted to escape to America and just leave it all behind. But again, that's your choice, man. You could have called her bluff if it was a bluff. You could have said, go fuck yourself. You can tell my boss whatever you want to tell him. But he chose to do shitty, horrible things in order to keep himself in the life that he had made or whatever. Like, I don't know. I hold some sympathy for him. Just a tiny little bit. But after seeing that he tricked Rebecca into allowing him to possess her fully just to kill her, and not only that, he didn't even have the decency to die for her. As soon as he got her in the water and it was too late for her to live, then he just dipped and let her deal with all that pain on her own. He fucking sucks, man. He's the worst. He's the worst. And then he just keeps lying to Flora and to Miles. And as far as I can tell, Rebecca's probably right. Like, it's too late for Miles now. Like, he's completely and utterly possessed him and is now going to ruin his life for forever. So the only one that has any kind of hope is Flora and Danny. But now I don't even know that because of all the bullshit that happened, because Danny got snatched up by the Lady of the Lake. And we saw how quickly she killed Peter, so things are not looking good. Hannah's out of commission because, once again, Peter just had to meddle in fucking everything. Does it show how much I don't like Peter? His little sob story of a backstory, it didn't cut it for me. I'm like, no, you're still the worst. For me, everything that happened in the last, 10-15 minutes of the episode was what really made me like this episode. Because that's when we got back to the present and things actually started happening and continuing on with the story that I've been investing myself in for so long. And I like the twist that Rebecca and Flora, tricked him into thinking that they were both playing along with his little game when they were not. I remember noticing that Flora's eyes didn't change into the two colors, thinking that was kind of weird, but it didn't really click with me that it was because she wasn't actually going along with the plan. So that was smart. That was cool. And of course, the very end of the episode, even though it was a really annoying cliffhanger, it certainly surprised me and definitely complicates the situation going forward. Cinematography was, again, very good. I think the best shot in the whole episode was the moment that Rebecca was dying, and you actually saw in her room, the water, I don't know if it was filling up or coming down from the ceiling, but just completely around her like that. That was really solid imagery. I liked it a lot. Technically, that's more of a visual effect thing, but just the lighting of the scene, the way it was framed, it was very good. But other than that, there was nothing that really stood out to me. Overall, this show seems to be very good in terms of its cinematography, but nothing spectacular. Music is kind of in the same boat. Again, it follows along with the rest of the season, being highly emotional during the right moments, while also being kind of fairy tale and light in other times. But still, nothing super memorable. Nothing that really shines above the rest. In terms of acting, I gotta give it to Oliver Jackson Cohen. I hate his character so much, but he plays it perfectly, and you do really feel the push and pull of his conflicting emotions during a lot of different moments in this episode. And in that regard, he's not just, an evil, horrible person with no reason for it. He does evil and horrible things for a very specific set of reasons that make a lot of sense. Doesn't excuse him though, he's still an asshole. But I'm always down for a well-written villain. Or a villain that just makes you want to claw your eyes out because you hate them so much. And he does a good job with that. Editing and pacing, I think the editing of the episode was very good, on par with the rest of the show. But pacing-wise, man, that's kind of what kills this episode for me. Again, they went from a really heightened, intense moment of the main story and then put it all on hold for 35-40 minutes of the episode just so we could get the backstory of Rebecca and Peter 100%, when I feel like that could have been done another time. That could have been done earlier in the season and just had things reworked a little bit so that you could have the bigger reveals or twists be told in a different way and just had it flow a little bit better. But instead they did it this way, and I think it did hurt the episode. So overall, I'm going to give the episode an 8 out of 10. I think it was a little better than the last one, just because Henry's story really didn't do anything for me. I thought that was pretty boring. I just wasn't really interested. At least with these flashbacks, I was interested, but it was still frustrating because, again, I wanted to get to what's happening now. So I'm not a huge fan of when they do that, unless it's for a very good reason. Regardless, they hit me with a huge cliffhanger ending once again, so I definitely have to watch the next episode. And even if they didn't, I still want to continue the show because I need to figure out how this is all going to wrap up, because I don't see an end for this story. The only ending I'm foreseeing at the moment is just everybody dies. Pretty much everybody loses. It's a really sad, fucked up ending. And I'm not sure that would work for the way the story has been told. So yeah, I definitely have to continue watching so I know where it's all leading. And I still think it is a good show. An 8 out of 10 is a solid score. It's just, I think this episode should have been a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10. And it just wasn't, because the whole episode had me wondering, are we getting back to the the other shit that's happening. But anyways, I can't wait for the next episode, and I will see you all there. And that's about it.